Hello, and welcome to Electro Nerds Academy. In this video, we'll be interfacing the DS18B20, a OneWire digital temperature sensor, with Arduino. The DS18B20 is available in two common forms. The first is a small TO92 package, which looks similar to a transistor. The second is a waterproof probe version, which is perfect for measuring temperature in liquids, soil, or outdoor environments. This sensor was originally developed by DallasTemperature, and it measures temperature and sends the data directly in digital form, so no need for analog conversion. It operates within a voltage range of 3 volts to 5.5 volts and consumes very little current, around 1 milliampere, making it highly power efficient. In terms of performance, the DS18B20 can measure temperatures from negative 55 degrees all the way up to 125 degrees Celsius. It also offers good accuracy, typically within plus minus 0.5 degrees over the range of minus 10 degrees to 85 degrees Celsius. One of its powerful features is adjustable resolution. We can choose between 9-bit to 12-bit resolution. Each level defines the smallest temperature change the sensor can detect. At 9-bit, the resolution is 0.5 degrees Celsius. At 10-bit, it's 0.25 degrees. At 11-bit, it's 0.1 to 5 degrees. And at 12-bit, it's 0.0625 degrees Celsius. By default, the sensor operates at 12-bit resolution, giving us the highest precision. However, higher resolution also means slightly longer conversion time. Another key feature of the DS18B20 is that it allows multiple sensors to be connected on a single wire. Each sensor comes with a unique 64-bit serial code. This means even if multiple sensors share the same data line, the Arduino can still identify and communicate with each one individually. This makes it ideal for projects where temperature needs to be monitored at multiple locations. Now let's take a look at the pinout of the sensor. The DS18B20 has 3 pins. The first pin is GND, which connects to ground. The second pin is DQ, the data line used for communication. And the third pin is VDD, which powers the sensor. If you're using the waterproof version, the wires are usually color-coded, red for VDD, black for ground, and yellow or white for the data line. Now let's connect the sensor to the Arduino. First, we will connect the VDD pin to the 5-volt pin of the Arduino. Next, we will connect the GND pin to ground, and finally, we will connect the DQ pin to digital pin 2 of the Arduino. After that, we place a 4.7K resistor between the DQ pin and the 5 volts line. This resistor acts as a pull-up resistor and is essential for proper communication on the OneWire bus. If you look at the DS18B20 datasheet, you'll find the same connection method we just used. This is the standard 3-wire configuration. However, there is another method called Parasite Power mode. In this mode, the VDD pin of the sensor is connected to ground, and it draws power directly from the data line. When the data line is high, the sensor stores energy in an internal capacitor, which it uses when the line goes low. While this method reduces wiring, it comes with some limitations. During temperature conversion or memory operations, the sensor requires more current. This means the microcontroller must provide a strong pull-up on the data line, often using additional components like a transistor or MOSFET. It can also become unreliable over longer distances, especially when multiple sensors are connected, since the available power is limited. Because of these limitations, we will use the standard 3-wire configuration throughout this video. The DS18B20 sensor requires 2 Arduino libraries to function properly: the OneWire library and the DallasTemperature library. The OneWire library handles the low-level communication over the OneWire bus, including sending and receiving data bits, whereas the DallasTemperature library sits on top of the OneWire library and provides user-friendly functions to read temperature, set resolution, and perform other operations. To install these libraries, we open the Arduino IDE and go to the Library Manager from the left sidebar. In the search bar, we type DS18B20 and install the DallasTemperature library by Miles Burton. Then, we search for OneWire and install the OneWire library as well, since it is required for communication. Once both libraries are installed, let's understand how to use them. The OneWire library mostly works in the background, so in practice, we mainly interact with the functions provided by the DallasTemperature library. But before exploring these functions, we need to understand how to create the required objects. We start by including both libraries. Then we will create the OneWire object first, because the DallasTemperature library depends on it. To do this, we write the name of the library, OneWire, followed by the object name. For example, OneWire object. We then add a pair of parentheses and specify the Arduino's pin number, to which the sensor's data pin is connected. Next, we will create the DallasTemperature object. Again, we write the library name DallasTemperature, followed by the object name, for example, sensor. And then inside the parentheses, we will pass the reference of the OneWire object we just created. To pass the reference, we use the ampersand symbol before the object name. This effectively links the DallasTemperature library with the OneWire object, allowing both libraries to work together. Now that our object is created, let's look at the important functions of the DallasTemperature library. We start with the begin function. This function initializes the library and scans the OneWire bus to detect all connected temperature sensors. It is typically called inside the void setup function. This function does not take any parameters and it does not return anything. Next is the request temperatures function. This function instructs all connected sensors to measure temperature. Without calling this function, the sensor will not update its readings. It also takes no parameters and returns void. If multiple DS18B20 sensors are connected on the same line, there are two additional variations of this function. First is the request temperatures by address function. This function requests temperature from a specific sensor using its unique 64-bit address. It takes one parameter, which is the sensor's unique address stored in an array of type unsigned 8-bit integer, and it returns a Boolean value. It returns true if the request is successful and false if no sensor is found at that address. The second variation is the request temperatures by index function. This also requests temperature from a specific sensor, but instead of using the address, it uses the sensor's index. The index is assigned by the microcontroller based on the order in which sensors are discovered on the OneWire bus when we use the begin function. It takes one integer parameter, which is the sensor index, and returns a Boolean value, which is true if successful and false if the index is invalid or no sensor exists at that position. Next, we have the getDeviceCount function. This function gives the total number of sensors connected to the bus. Internally, this count is based on the scan performed when the begin function was called. It takes no parameters and returns an unsigned 8-bit integer representing the number of connected devices. After that, we have the getAddress function. As we know, each DS18B20 sensor has a unique 64-bit address, which always starts with the number 28. The getAddress function retrieves this address from a sensor using its index number. This function takes two parameters. First, an array of type unsigned 8-bit integer, in which the 64-bit address will be stored, and second is the index number of the sensor. It returns true if the address is found, and false if the index is invalid. Next, we have the getTempC by index function. This function is used to read the temperature in degrees Celsius. It takes an integer parameter, which is the index number of the sensor, and returns a float value representing the temperature in degrees Celsius. If only one sensor is connected, the index will be 0. Similarly, we have the getTempF by index function. This function is used to read the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit. It also takes a single integer parameter, which is the index number of the sensor, and returns a float value representing temperature, but in degrees Fahrenheit. If we want to access sensors using their addresses rather than index numbers, we can use the getTempC and getTempF functions. Both of them take a single parameter, which is the device address array, and return a float value in either degrees Celsius or degrees Fahrenheit. Next, we have the alarm-related functions, the setHighAlarmTemp function and setLowAlarmTemp function. These functions are used to set the upper and lower temperature limits for the alarm inside the sensor. After each measurement, the sensor compares the current temperature with these limits and sets an internal alarm flag if the temperature goes out of range. Both functions take two parameters, the sensor address and the temperature limit in degrees Celsius. And the return type of both functions is void. Next, we have the hasAlarm function. This function is used to check whether any sensor on the OneWire bus is in the alarm state. We can provide either no parameter to it, in which case it will check if any sensor on the bus is in the alarm state, or we can provide the device address as a parameter, in which case it checks a specific sensor for the alarm. It returns true if at least one sensor on the bus is in the alarm state, and false if everything is normal. Another useful function is the set resolution function. This function allows us to adjust the sensor's resolution between 9 and 12 bits. Higher resolution provides more precise readings, but increases conversion time. It takes one or two parameters, the resolution value, which must be between 9 and 12, and optionally the device address as a second parameter. Its return type is void. Finally, we have the get resolution function. This function returns the current resolution setting of the DS18B20 sensor. When only one sensor is connected, we can use the function without any parameters. And when multiple sensors are used, we will have to provide the device address as a parameter to find out the resolution of a specific sensor on the bus. It returns an unsigned 8-bit integer representing the resolution value of our target device. Now, let's see this library in action with a simple example, where we read and display the temperature on the serial monitor in both degrees Celsius and Fahrenheit. At the top of the code, we include both required libraries. Then, we define the Arduino pin to which the data line of the sensor is connected. In our case, it's digital pin 2 of the Arduino. Next, we create a OneWire object and pass this pin number to it. After that, we create a DallasTemperature object and pass the reference of the OneWire object to link both libraries together. Inside the setup function, we begin serial communication so we can view the temperature readings on the serial monitor. Then, we call the begin function, which initializes the sensor and scans for any connected devices. Now let's move to the void loop section. Here, we first call the request temperatures function. This tells the sensor to measure the temperature. Once the conversion is complete, we use the getTempC_by_index function and pass 0 as the parameter. Since only one sensor is connected, index 0 refers to that sensor. This function returns the temperature in Celsius, which we then print on the serial monitor. Similarly, we use the getTempF_by_index function to read the temperature in Fahrenheit and display it as well on the serial monitor. Finally, we add a small delay so that the readings are updated at regular intervals. Now we simply upload the code to our Arduino. After a successful upload, we will open the serial monitor, and you can see the current temperature displayed in both Celsius and Fahrenheit. If we touch the sensor, you'll notice the temperature value increases, and once we remove our hand, it gradually returns to its original value. And that's all for this video. In the next video, we'll learn how to interface multiple DS18B20 sensors with Arduino, so stay tuned. We hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Electro Nerds Academy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.